Good morning to you, David. I know you've said that Mayor Adams' plan provides more opportunity for these immigrants by transporting them to the more suburban area. But shouldn't these counties, which are not sanctuary cities, actually have a say about what happens and who comes to their communities?
Well, first of all, what Adams is doing is he's sending 300 men temporarily to Rockland and Orange County, and they're providing. The city of New York is providing medical services, shelter. So it's a very different situation. He isn't dumping these people on anybody. He's using a short-term solution for a longer-term problem. Look, this is not about New York. This is not about Chicago. We've seen Governor Abbott of Texas, unfortunately, use migrants, use asylum seekers as political footballs and dumping them on particularly Democratic or Black-run major metropolitan areas, such as Washington, D.C., New York City, Chicago. This is not an answer. This is chaos. And what we need is an immigration system, is an asylum system that respects due process, that's orderly, that's fair. This is something we can solve. This is something we can do as a country. My gosh, we built Europe, rebuilt it after World War II. We can certainly solve, if we work together as a country, this problem of migration, of migrants coming up from Venezuela and elsewhere in search of safety.
Well, obviously, there are a lot of people who feel compassion for those who have come into our country with nowhere to go because they are fleeing a government that is fascist and harsh, and an economy that's completely collapsed. But you mentioned the comments that Mayor Adams made about being targeted to Black-run cities. Do you really think that this is racially motivated?
I think Abbott is racially motivated. I think DeSantis, what he did in the fall, is absolutely racially motivated. Whether it's racially motivated against Latinos, brown people coming from South America or Central America, or metropolitan areas that are predominantly run by Democrats, and of course, I mean, unfortunately, the extremists on the right have made race the central part of their agenda when they talk about the Great Replacement, which at bottom is an anti-Semitic trope, the Great Replacement theory, or other slogans that people like Abbott, Governor Abbott of Texas, or Ron DeSantis of Florida have been throwing around. The Trumpism, all this kind of rhetoric, this hateful rhetoric, which, by the way, also, causes violence, the kind of violence that we've seen in Texas over the last week. This has just got to stop, right? We have to start working together as a nation. We can solve the immigration problem by surging resources to the border, by reforming our immigration system, by using some common sense to work together. And stop the hatred that's coming out of the mouths of Republican politicians like Abbott, who are using this, Governor Abbott, who are using this as a cudgel to slam the president of the United States, Joe Biden, when he's trying to solve a problem that is long-standing. When I say problem, I mean the problem of migration at the southern border.
Yeah, it's a very big problem. The president only visiting the border one time. And there's been hateful rhetoric on both sides. Unfortunately, this is a very personal issue for both. We're out of time. I apologize, David Leopold. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.